just finished the Indivisible What's the Plan for November 6th, 2025. So here's a couple of my big takeaways. First of all, celebrating wins is an act of resistance. So Ezra and Leah took a small chunk of time celebrating all of the wins that we had on Tuesday. They talked about how Virginia has elected their first female governor ever. So amazing. And we had big and small wins all across the country for Democrats. And Ezra brought up that there is a study, and I think he's going to link it, but stating that protests equate to election results. We had one of the biggest protests in the nation's history 2 weeks ago, and Democrats across the country pulled off huge wins. So let's celebrate the hell out of that. So they also brought up now is the time that we start thinking about primary season. Primaries kick off as early as like February, but we have like late primary votes through August and September. And then we've got the general election in November next year, 2026. Wow. So now is the time to be deciding how your individual community wants to tackle this moment. Are you happy with your elected official who is currently in office? Are there people who can challenge that person? How is Indivisible going to meet this moment? Your individual indivisible groups. That was a lot of eyes. But how is your community going to meet this moment? Primaries are when we shift the needle towards what our community wants. But in the general election is when we support whomever wins the primary for the Democrats. And this is how we build a strong Democratic coalition. There are some national groups that are planning boycotts from November 25th to December 5th. With these economic boycotts, we are boycotting large corporations that get all of these tax breaks. They can pay their employees peanuts while they are pocketing our profits. So the point is in these blackouts to engage in mutual aid, which we should be doing now anyway with all of the SNAP cuts, with all of the furloughed federal employees. Engage in mutual aid right now because our communities need us. They need the people either in time or in dollars to help. But the point with the blackouts is to shop local, shop at your mom and pop stops, shop at your farmers market, find artisans in your area if you are planning to buy gifts. Put dollars in their pockets, not in Jeff Bezos, not in the Walden family, not in whomever owns Target. I don't remember their names. But use the power of your dollar to amplify your voice. Another really good topic that came up that I've been tracking kind of partially is somebody asked, how do we pressure Mike Johnson to bring the House back into session, to bring Republicans to the negotiating table? He's not going to. He doesn't want the Epstein files released. And there's not really a way that we can pressure him. We have to pressure this was from Leah, we have to pressure our own representatives, and they are the ones who have to put the pressure on him, especially if you are in a Republican district. You need to be calling and say, it is illegal for you to not seat Adelita Grijalva. It is ridiculous that you are not working right now. You have been on vacation for 9 weeks now, I think. I think it's 9 weeks. So, we need to be pressuring our individual representatives in our communities to put pressure on him. And after this big win, so one of the other things that got mentioned during this talking point was that moderate Democrats were really thinking hard about caving. And there's been a lot of content creators who are saying, you need to call your representatives and say, do not cave. Do not cave right now. That's done now because we had such a massive win on Tuesday. And even Donald Trump is saying that the shutdown is hurting Republicans. Yes, yes, it is. And that brings me into another um, point with the shutdown. Somebody asked if Ezra and Leah have any words of encouragement for veterans and federal employees who are being impacted. The Republicans are playing a game with people's lives, with people's nutrition assistance, and it is really, really difficult right now. Nobody wants people going without their paycheck. None of us want people going without SNAP benefits. But right now, this is where our party has their power. And Leah pointed out that the Republicans want us to suffer. They want people to suffer because historically, Democrats are the ones who don't want to see people hurting. And a lot of people are hurting right now. And so that's why mutual aid is super important. Um, but the long term goal is to get people back to a place where they are safe, they have their jobs. And let's remember, these layoffs of the federal government started back at the beginning of the administration in January, end of January, beginning of February. So it is painful right now. Our family, we're holding our breath. We haven't been affected yet, but it could happen. Yes, it sucks right now. Um, but we really need the Democrats to toe the line and stand up for American healthcare. And if you live in a Republican district, get on the phone and tell your Republican representatives and senators to come to the negotiating table, because we can't allow this to keep going on. And the last really interesting question that I wanted to mention, because I thought it was very interesting, somebody had asked about um, how to know which like emails and texts are legitimate when it comes to donating to organizations and candidates who are asking for money. And Leah said that spam fundraising is a huge issue. It is a problem, and both parties use like a couple. It's like two or four, just four. I think it was four consulting firms to generate these hyperbolic emails, and they profit off of them. Not necessarily the candidates, but the like consulting firms. Their advice was to make sure that you are donating to organizations and to candidates who you have appraised as a positive influence. And I would add to that, donate directly to the source. Like if you get a text from the Red Cross or an email from the Red Cross and you like the Red Cross and you want to support the work that they do, go and donate directly to their page. Never, never, never click on a link in an email that you do not recognize the email address or the text message from. So I'll leave it at that. And as a reminder, we organize out in the open. So, go check out What's the Plan on YouTube and sign up for the weekly Zoom link on Mobilize. I'll try and remember to put it in the description below. But so much great information shared, so many great questions asked. So, hope you'll join us, and I'll see you next week.